Hello comrades, this is General Luigi, and welcome to Let's Play Pokémon Colosseum. So, we're here in Agate Village to do some grinding. I'm pretty sure there are a few trainers that I can face here, although for some reason that one... I could have sworn that fellow was one of the trainers I could face. How about you, sir? There we go! Okay. The plan is that this fellow will help us get that last bit of Remoraid's heart gauge down. And as you can see, this guy's actually pretty tough. He's got some good Pokemon on him. Alright, so Sudowoodo probably won't last through the entire fight, and that's just as well. Let's see. Espeon, let's go ahead and give that new Psybeam of yours a good try. Sudowoodo, Shadow Rush. Ah, Secret Power. This changes based on the terrain. As you can see, in this case, it was able to poison Espeon. However, thanks to Espeon's Synchronize, Swellow got poisoned too. Alright, took out Rhyhorn in one blow. Who's next? Sunflora. Alright. Oh. Could have sworn I had targeted that against Swellow. Ah, well. No matter. Alright, so both Swellow and Espeon get hurt by poison. Thankfully, there's a Pokemon Center right next to where we're fighting. Alright. Let's go with Swellow now. Okay, he's smart enough to actually target Espeon instead of Sudowoodo, who's strong against flying moves. Alright, so unless Sudowoodo enters Hyper Mode, that should take care of Swellow. Ha! Tough luck! Espeon's poisoned. And he's also going to faint on the next turn. But that's just as well, it'll give us a chance to bring Remoraid out. Granted, I don't expect Remoraid to last long against a level 40 Sunflora, but... You did well, Espeon. Alright, so, time to send out Remoraid. That should finish up the heart gauge. And that's another reason I'm in Agate Village. There was one Pokemon I was going to purify, Swablu. Then it occurred to me that I could enter a trainer battle and get the last bit of Remoraid's heart gauge taken care of. Alright, so Aurora Beam is an ice move, so it'll do a lot of damage against Sunflora, assuming Sunflora doesn't take out Remoraid before she can do any damage. Oh, didn't realize Remoraid was that fast. Of course, since Remoraid is so low level, and since Sunflora not only has a lot of HP, but also pretty good special defense, even Aurora Beam has its limits. We'll keep going, though. Would have preferred a regular or Shadow Rush at that point, but oh well. I think I've mentioned this, but Shadow Rush... No, not Shadow Rush. Paralysis lowers the victim's speed, which isn't really going to make much of a difference, since Sudowoodo is already hitting last in every round. And, of course, it gives Pokemon a 25% chance of being unable to attack. Nice. Critical hit. Apparently that neck is made out of rubber or elastic. Yeah, I'm gonna go with elastic. Another Aurora Beam, another Shadow Rush. Probably not gonna finish the job unless we luck out with another critical hit. Yeah. And... some small little insect is flying around my head. Never gets within... Well, then again, I probably don't want to harm it while I'm recording. Gotta make sure I can safely say no animals were harmed during the making of this video. Not as if I actually confirmed that in videos. But yeah, thus far, unless you count me, no animals have ever been harmed in the making of any of my videos. Don't know why you're bothering with Stun Spore so much. I mean, yeah, it will mean that Remoraid might have a chance of not hitting, but other than that, it's not going to do much. Hyper mode again. Lovely. Well, another Aurora Beam. Sudowoodo, snap out of it. Is it my imagination, or are the Cypher admin's Pokemon less susceptible to being called? Alright, and down goes Sunflora. I kind of wasn't expecting that. Would've thought Remoraid would've gotten knocked out first, but apparently Sunflora didn't know any decent moves. That's one thing that sometimes bugged me about certain grass Pokemon. Some trainers only have them equipped with support moves. Alright, so let's heal everyone. I'll see you in a moment after I've purified 2 Pokemon and everything. Alright. So I'm back. I've gone ahead and equipped Remoraid with the experience share. I'm going to have her be my water main for his LP. Mainly because her evolution could potentially end up outperforming Mantine. I suppose it depends on your preferences. So, this will allow me to bring down Sudowoodo's Shadow Meter, as well as train Remoraid. Although, truth be told, Remoraid could probably handle these 2 anyway. Okay, so Psybeam on Wurmple, Shadow Rush on Silcoon, and that should hopefully take them both out. Can't guarantee it, however. Alright, so experience share basically guarantees that the holder will gain experience even if he or she or it is not participating in the battle. Alright, Harden. That's not going to be of much use against Espeon's Psybeam. Alright, but first let's deal with Cascoon. Sudowoodo, snap out of it. Alright. Another one-hit KO. Didn't take a look, but I think Cascoon is part poison and therefore vulnerable to Psybeam. Alright, level 22, that's good. Once Remoraid reaches level 25, she will evolve into Octillery. And I'd have to recheck, but Octillery is a little weak. My memory is Octillery is not as good on special defense as Mantine is, but has better physical attack. So that'll make things a little easier for Pokemon that are strong against special attacks. It'll keep Octillery from being completely useless against a Pokemon with good special defense. That was Mantine's main weakness in my earlier playthrough. Mantine couldn't do much against Pokemon with good special defense. Alright, so that takes care of the first battle. And we get another funneled lady. Is that so? I would say sorry to disappoint you, but frankly it's not something I would be very sorry about. Wow, 2 Kirlia, what a well-rounded team. Thankfully, Espeon knows more than just psychic attacks. Rockhead. I'm trying to remember what that does. I'm trying to remember what that does. I want to say it reduces recoil damage, but my memory is that Shadow Rush still caused recoil damage. Ah, well. Return. Another Shadow Rush will hopefully knock it out if Return isn't enough. Down in one blow. What a surprise. What'll Secret Power do here, if anything? Not much. Oh, paralysis. Lovely. However, synchronize. Okay, so yeah, Rockhead doesn't prevent recoil damage. Or if it does, Shadow Rush apparently ignores it. You know, I have the strategy guide right next to me. And that's why I used to compare data on Octillery and Mantine. Doesn't appear to say. Lovely. I'm sorry. Compassion for the elderly stops when it comes to a matter of whether or not I let you win. If you consider throwing the match to be compassion for the elderly, I'm sorry. But my compassion stops there. Alright, Aron and Fanpy. Would have been nice to have Remoraid out, but nah, not much point in switching out in the middle of a battle. Alright, so, Aron is part Steel, so Espeon's normal moves won't be as useful. Thankfully, we have Shadow Rush from Sudowoodo. The rules for Shadow moves actually change in this game's sequel, Pokémon XD. In that game, Shadow moves, and there's more than just Shadow Rush with that one, but Shadow moves will be super effective against non-Shadow Pokémon, and not very effective against Shadow Pokémon. Sorry about that. Neck was bothering me. Contrary to popular belief, joint cracking does not lead to arthritis. There is no evidence of that happening. Alright, and unless Sudowoodo enters Hyper Mode, Shadow Rush should take out Aron. Okay, good. No Hyper Mode. I just had to say it should take out Aron. Okay, Mud Slap, that's a ground move. Thankfully not a very powerful one. There's also the fact that rock types tend to have very good physical defense, and ground moves are always physical. Okay, Confusion. Excuse me. Shadow Rush. Won't be necessary, though. And there we go. Oh, so scary. Roar. Not interested. Oh, so you're saying all of my previous battles were not authentic? I don't know. Whenever someone uses that word, I'm tempted to... I'm just reminded of these kind of stuck-up people that insist that only their way is the authentic... I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it. It's usually in fan communities. People who might insist that a certain part of a series isn't authentic. Am I making any sense here? Basically, the kinds of people who want to to say this. Basically, people who try to restrict something to what they are fond of, and they come up with all manner of excuses to treat outliers as though they're not truly part of what they're fond of, well, part of the series. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Because I get the impression I'm making no sense at all. Anyway, bottom line, whenever someone uses the word authentic in that context, they just come off as stuck up from my point of view. Why do I have the feeling I just... Ooh. Really shouldn't have picked at that loose bit of skin. I'm sorry, I will be right back. I just did something really stupid and now I'm bleeding. Alright, sorry about that. So apparently an animal was harmed in the making of this video. Me! Anyway, both of them are poison types. Cybimomadish and Shadow Rush on Gulpin. Oddish is part grass, and I'd rather not risk a grass move hurting Sudowoodo. Let's see if my tea is cooled down enough. Yep. So, let's see what Gulpin's gonna do. Sludge, of course. Classic blob type Pokemon move right there. Alright, Confusion. Shadow Rush. We're just gonna crush these guys. I'm sorry, I feel a belch coming. Come on. Excuse me. Alright. I made you lose. Defeat requires more than just the opponent. Uh-huh. Quit making excuses. I never asked for one. Alright, Larvitar and... Ooh, Houndour. Houndour, I think I've told you this, but Houndour is part dark. So, Espeon's psychic attacks will not affect Houndour. In addition, Houndour has dark moves which are very good against psychic Pokémon. So, let's go ahead and take him out first. Hopefully a nice return Shadow Rush combo will be enough. Just return is enough. Well, I'm not complaining. Alright. And... nice! That was fast. Alright, one more level and Remoraid will evolve. Arguably, that's one of the things a Let's Player can be. Oh well. Right now, I think of myself as more of an entertainer than a teacher. You might see more of the teacher side in my Fire Emblem Awakening Let's Play. Alright, Natu and Duskull. Nothing really impressive here. Although, since Natu's part psychic... That means it will be strong against Espeon's psychic moves. But let's deal with Duskull first. Psybeam, Shadow Rush, that should do the trick. I remember when I first caught a Natu, I thought it was so cute I just couldn't let it evolve. And I've always loved birds. Not necessarily as pets, just I like watching them. Doesn't mean exactly that I go out of my way to observe them. But if I come across one when I'm going on a walk, I'll usually stop to look at it. Sometimes I'm treated to some really pretty ones. And that's kind of saying something. Southern California isn't known for having its colorful birds. Get to see plenty of crows, though. And all of a sudden I've run out of things to say. Lovely. Well, how weak are your Pokémon? If they're weak enough, we can get this over with very quickly. I think this is going to be child's play. Espeon's Psybeam is powerful enough without Machop's weakness to fighting moves. Psychic moves. Mind over matter, as they say. See, the filter didn't do as good a job as usual this time. Well, not the filter. Well, yeah, the filter. All manner of stuff floating around in the tea. Yes, Rock Smash is a fighting move. Not a very powerful one, but it has its uses. It's something you pretty much had to rely on in later games. Well, starting with Generation 2, actually. Is there a rock in the way? Just use Rock Smash and break through it. And of course, every now and then you could find a Pokémon in there. Geodude, for example. Or Shuckle, for that matter. Excuse me. Another Rock Smash. Now that's just plain stupid. You have a fighting move, and instead of attacking the rock Pokémon with it, you attack the psychic Pokémon with it. Alright. So, Psybeam should be enough to take Zigzagoon out, especially with a critical hit. Kinda hoping Remoraid will evolve before we reach the end of this area. Never know, though. Well, there's your quick battle. Well, I appreciate that. I hope you were prepared to be on the receiving end of N yourself. I hope you're prepared to be on the receiving end of one yourself. Mawile. That could be interesting. Mawile is pure steel. So Espeon's moves aren't going to do much damage. Oh yeah, and Intimidate will also reduce attack power. So that could cause problems for Shadow Rush. And let's go ahead and deal with Geodude. Shadow Rush against Mawile. Hopefully we'll finish this in one turn, but I don't expect that to happen. Mawile can probably withstand at least one Shadow Rush. Don't know how that causes special defense to fall, but oh well. Okay, yeah, Mawile's probably going to draw this battle out a bit. No matter. Sudowoodo can keep Shadow Rushing. Espeon, we'll go ahead and use Psybeam on you. On Mawile. Won't do as much damage as I'd like. Never mind! Apparently that type advantage wasn't enough to prevent... Okay, and there's Remoraid's evolution. Okay, this is a bit of an odd evolution. Remoraid is obviously based on a remora fish. So what does it evolve into? An octopus, of course! Then again, this is Pokemon we're talking about. Okay, Octazooka. Yes, let's replace one of those moves. Sure. Actually, you know what? We'll go with Lock On instead. As far as I recall, Octillery doesn't learn anything that would require Lock On. Alright. And finally, the Area Leader. It's me, but I think her model's kind of pretty. Alright. So, anyway. I think she just uses water Pokemon, but we'll find out soon enough. Judging by the pattern we've been seeing, it seems a safe assumption. Just keep going with the classic 1-2 punch. Psybeam and Shadow Rush. Okay, I'm pretty sure Corphish isn't part dark, but its evolved form, Crawdaunt, is. Okay, that was Twister, right? I didn't catch a glimpse of the name. But regardless, that's one of the moves that can actually hit a Pokemon when it's airborne. Alright, Sudowoodo, snap out of it. Alright. So yes, Corphish is not part dark. What's next? Goldeen. Yeah, I'm willing to bet that the last Pokemon is also a water type. Okay, yes, that was Twister. And it's actually a dragon type move, rather than a flying move, which is what you might have expected. Anyway, Psybeam, Shadow Rush. This is still going to be a very quick battle. Alright, how much you want to bet? Is the last one a water type? Yes. Part bug, admittedly, but still ultimately a water type. That horsey is really fond of using Twister. And I have no idea why. I would think there were better moves to use against Sudowoodo. I mean, it's a rock type. That's practically asking for a water move. Oh well, don't question a good thing. Okay, now you're just being stupid. You had your chance, Renson. Plenty of opportunities to use a water move against Sudowoodo and get her out of the match. Her, right? I had to open my mouth. Okay, yes, her. Then again, Bubble's not exactly a powerful move. There's also the fact that Sudowoodo is at a much higher level, or a high enough level to prevent Bubble from doing much damage. Alright, Sudowoodo, snap out of it. Espeon will finish this with a confusion. Alright, and that is the end of that battle. Alright, so that takes care of this area. I will see you next time.